to do is for people to understand the well, hello, hey, it's me, Dr. D, and you know I've got my grand man, Sir Edward Henderson. We're back, but guess what? Remember who you're watching? Who are we?
Globally, you.
And we did something new and different. We're out and about.
Out and
about in Georgia, up here in, what is it, northwest Georgia? Is that where we are?
We are in Eddie's Place. It is one of the premier restaurants in Georgia. It's one of the, I believe it's top 10, top 5 rated barbecue and family restaurants actually in the state, and particularly in Decula, Georgia, where we are today.
Well, see, I told you, this is globally you. And you as well, as all of our viewers know, get your pen and paper, because this is also continuing education. And boy, have we got information for you. We're always talking about entrepreneurship, right, Sir Edward?
It is always top of mind, isn't it?
Yes.
It is the #1 way for small businesses to really impact their communities, and that's what we're all about. That's why we're out here in the community right now, making a special taping, and we've got some absolutely fantastic guests today.
Well, key word, small business. Now, what business can get any smaller than you? Remember, every business starts with you. So don't let anybody fool you, as my mother would say. We all start small because your business starts with you. And whether you know it or not, you're a business. Why? Because you're a brand. Why? Because you have a name. So we're going to really get into this entertainment industry. So, you know, we're talking about all kinds of entertainment industries, and entertainment industry it's an entrepreneur.
Atlanta is the hottest entertainment market in the country. I think everyone knows they call it Black Hollywood and Bollywood and everything else. And we said, you know what? With everything that we talk about, with finance and education and health, what better segue except than to drive into entertainment? And we decided to get some really top-notch guests to really give us the real nitty-gritty of what it takes to really survive and even get started as an entrepreneur behind the cameras, and then what it takes to be in front of it. And today, we have our fantastic guests. I'll allow you to do the intro.
Well, absolutely. Now, when he said top-notch, he was not kidding. Think of this. When you've got the brains from LA packing their bags and coming here and bringing their knowledge, you know we're on to something. And we've got 2 of the best in the industry. First of all, I want to introduce the lady, or should I say the queen of the entertainment industry when it comes to what she's done. Because she's an actor, singer, radio personality, dancer, and she has taken all of that and built it into a business from herself, helping others navigate the highways of the entrepreneurship road in entertainment. Miss Ruth T. Paul. Thank you, Miss Ruth, for coming and sharing with us, because everybody's going to want to listen. Get your pen and paper. Once again, the name is Ruth T. Paul. Now, next to her, we've seen his work, and if you are not like me, I watch the credits, so I know who he is. But I'm going to let him tell you guys. You'll be surprised of what being in the entertainment business can do. It's not always in front of the camera, because there would be nobody in front if you didn't have someone like the grand man sitting next to Miss Ruth, and this is Sir Lamont Farrell.
Thank you.
And we're going to let them share, first of all, where they're coming from and what really brought them from the West Coast to the East Coast. Talk to us, Miss Ruth T. Paul. Where are you coming from?
Well, I came from, in the beginning, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's my home. Laverne and Shirley, you know.
Sure.
Right.
And I left there when I was 17. I had been in the entertainment industry for a while and just knew that there was a little bit something else that I was missing. I wanted to get the knowledge of how these TV shows were on, like Donnie and Marie and the Jacksons. I was just enamored in that respect. So I packed up and moved to California and was lucky enough to get into the School of the Arts, the Inner City Cultural Center. And it took me to another level as far as educationally, learning about stage making, lighting, design, clothing, singing, dance. I mean, intense schooling for 3 years. And it was a CETA program. Now, a lot of people say, what is a CETA program?
Exactly.
It was a government-funded program for underprivileged adults. Well, we were adults at the time, from 17 to 21.
Right.
So you're out of high school. What are you going to do? If you're in the industry, you want to learn your craft, how to hone your craft. This was before all of the big Cal Arts and different schools like that, where you have to pay $50,000 a semester. They paid us $300 every 2 weeks to learn our craft. So that was like a God-given, you know, educational format. And there I actually met, just name them, I've met them, from Johnny Carson to Bob Hope, all of the black entertainers that were coming up, Larry, Lawrence Fishburne, Glenn Turman,
my favorites,
just, you know, it was a just incredible situation to fall into.
Well,
So-
now when you say, not to cut you, but when you say fall into, that was a destined road for
It
you.
was. It was.
So when you actually, and even unaware, because a lot of times we're following our destiny and we don't even know it, but the tenacity that you had to follow that feeling in order for you to leave home
Yes.
and go to LA, following that instinct in you to say, go, do this, go, do that. And that's something that a lot of us, we don't trust.
And it was a trust, because I had never been away from home like that before. And I talked my sister into going on a vacation with me. And I met my future husband, which he was my friend at the time, and he was the gate to the school, because he knew someone in the school. So yes, that was
your
destined.
role was actually destined.
Yes, it
to
was.
be what it was, and you took that, and that's one thing here at Globally You. We always want people to understand that you have a divine, and it's a good one for you. It's for your good that these things happen. What about you, Lamont? Tell us a little bit about where you're coming from and what drove you to this moment.
Wow, I'm originally from not Milwaukee. I'm from Philadelphia.
Well, hey, tons of family there.
There you go. West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Oh, okay.
All right.
West Philadelphia. Oh, did you write that too? See, I told you.
No, I didn't write that. But yeah, I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and then we moved out to the suburbs of a small town called Yeadon, Pennsylvania. Sure. When I was a youngster, but you know, at a young age, I had 5 brothers. You know, so it was 6 boys, no girls. You know, in our house. So you know, you always had to stand out somehow. And for us, it was being funny. You know, so I didn't realize at the time, but we would make little funny TV shows just with, you know, with a camcorder or even a tape recorder, and we'd make our own little commercials. But looking back on my life, that was kind of my education of getting to where I am today. And like she mentioned, Laverne and Shirley, I mean, I grew up on, you know, All in the Family, Good Times, Sanford and Son, you know, the Jeffersons, and those were shows that, coming home from school, I couldn't wait to rush in the house to look at those TV shows. And then when I got older, I always wanted to write. And I realized really early that there was more power behind the camera than in front of it. And so I went to college. I played basketball. I had a basketball scholarship at Temple University. And so I went to school there, and I majored in journalism. And then I talked to a lot of people in industry. I started doing stand-up comedy, and I met a lot of famous people like Martin Lawrence and Dave Chappelle when he was like 19 years old, coming to Philly to do comedy.
Yeah.
And all of those guys were like, hey, if you really want to make it in this business, you got to move to a bigger market than New York or LA. And for me, New York was too close to Philly and really too close to mom's home cooking, you know? And so I knew I would be home more often on the weekends than not. And so I knew it would be a struggle, but I was prepared for it. So I got in my car, and nobody believed me, but I drove cross country to LA. True story, my car broke down in Delaware about 45 minutes outside of Philly.
Yeah, you hadn't gone anywhere.
I didn't go anywhere. And so I went to this auto body shop, asked the guy to look at it. They were too busy to even look at my car. I didn't know a lot about cars, but I went outside, I opened the hood, kicked the tires, messed with some stuff, closed it down, and started back up. I drove straight to
gosh.
Now,
Wow.
see, that's,
But
what was that? Was it
Wow.
divine?
Yes.
it was.
Yes.
It was. It really, it truly was. And I moved to Los Angeles, and you know, did the whole Hollywood thing, waited tables at Red Lobster, sold cars on La Brea Avenue Motors, things like that, tried to wait for my quote-unquote big break. And unfortunately, I went to a taping of Martin. That was kind of my eye-opening moment. And I went to the taping, and I was sitting up in the audience like everyone else. But then I looked down and I saw everybody with these cameras, and I saw all these people who looked like me sitting in these high-back director's chairs. And I was like, man, this is where I need to be, you know. And I already had the background of writing from college, major in journalism. I always was, you know, kind of funny doing stand-up comedy. So right then it was like, you know, I saw when security guards, everybody's leaving, they took the scripts and they were throwing them in the trash can after the show was over. And I said, hey, can I get one of those scripts? And he was like, hey, wow.
Lamont, I'm going to stop
There
you
you
right there
are.
because he said some really powerful things just now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to just back this out for our Globally You audience.
Yes.
Ruth, you also said this, and of course you highlight divine intervention happened in two different cases here because you both had the will, the instinct, the passion to take the drive, to take that step forward. And then something beyond yourself, faith, took over and took you when your car wouldn't start, when no one believed that you should be leaving for California.
Right, right.
And then you come full circle and you're seeing the scripts being thrown in the trash that would segue into the amazing career that you have, and then even more that we're going to hear from Ruth in just a second. So finish your story, but I just wanted to make sure that we write that down for our Globally You audience.
Tenacity, drive, determination. Continue.
Yeah, so, you know, I saw them scripts pile up in that trash can, and I said, can I get one of them scripts? I just knew they were going to be like, no. Man, the guys handed me up a script, and so when I got it, it was like, remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they opened up the Last Covenant, I looked that script up and was like, whoa.
Yeah, those moments.
I knew it right then. And
But it was.
Something inside me truly was like,
Yeah.
man, everything that I've learned up to this point in my life, writing, being funny, I was like, it was all right here.
Wow.
And I just had to figure out how to get down there. And I went home, I got on, this is really, you know, I tell people today, this is, computers wasn't as prevalent as it was back then.
Right.
So I got on didn't have the internet or anything. I just typed up a script, and then a buddy of mine, Ed Evans, who was writing for Living Single at the time, who I just met, and said that BET was looking for a
Living Single, was that Queen Latifah and Erica and all those folks? Yeah, yeah. Kim Fields, she's here in Atlanta. I know her over at Tyler Perry Studios. Yeah, yeah.
And so, to make a long story short, you know, he said they were looking for new writers, and I took that script, I wrote, and I submitted it in, and I got hired as one of the writers for the new writers program they're doing at BET for new shows that they were doing. And since then, I fortunately wrote for, after that, The Parenthood of Robert Townsend, Moesha, starring Brandy, and Girlfriends, Tracy Ellis Ross. So I've written for over 20 sitcoms, and I actually have, this year, I produced my own show called Last Call. If you remember Cheers,
Sure.
It's an updated version of Cheers about a bar with mostly African-American cast.
Wait a minute. So I was a Cheers fan.
Okay.
But I never saw any of us. So you're saying
Yeah.
I can get that
One.
same thing and see
Absolutely. You're going to see
A little diversity. Wow.
Martin with Cole.
Sure, sure.
One of our cast members. You mentioned Living Single, T.C. Carson.
Yeah.
He plays one of our cast members.
I think it's a fantastic concept.
Well, you know what? Now, guys, this is what Globally You is all about. We're letting you hear stories from people been there, done that, and is still doing it, and didn't let anything stop them. But I'm being stopped right now for a break. We'll be right back.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Audience, welcome back. We've got a fantastic show on tap. We are deep into the entertainment side of things. And I want to turn back to you, Ruth. If you will tell us a little bit more about your story and where it got you today, and just some of those high-level key moments that made you the entrepreneur, the entity of entertainment that you are.
You know, I think basically for me it was that hunger for knowledge. Mm-hmm. That hunger to find out how things are done and why, and then that put me in the realm of being acceptant of what my role was going to be, what my road and where it was taking me. Because each time I made a decision to make a difference in my life, a change, I had gone as far as I could go with that portion, you know.
Not cutting you off, but that's the key. It's the tenacity, because the key word when you just said, I had gone as far as I could go, but that didn't mean I need to stop.
Right.
You pursued, then your antennas went up to what's next. Now, and at the break we were talking about something that we wanted you to really iterate on, because I want to show the contrast between continuing to want to learn, because you said something about a government program?
Yes, that was the program in Los Angeles, and it ended in 1983. Ronald Reagan, he kind of did away with it, but it was a CETA program, CETA, C-E-T-A. And actually there was one in Milwaukee too when I was 13. Wow. So I was a part of this kind of system. It was a learning program in Milwaukee too. So after that I was like, oh, I'm lucky enough to get into another program that's going to pay me to actually make myself better. Wow. And so I went to the School of the Arts, the Inner City Cultural Center, and then they put me on staff. Well, they offered me a job to be on staff, so I was on staff for another 2 years.
Isn't it something how doors
just opening
yeah. Just in your face.
It was phenomenal, and from there, you know, the calling sent me back to the Midwest, where I was there looking for a job, and my sister, she used to be a promoter of talent, and she went to the radio station and they needed a receptionist. So she said, you need to go and get that job as a receptionist. And I was like, wow, I've had acting, I can dance, I can do all this, I can act like a receptionist. You know? And so I kept calling and calling, and finally I got an interview to go in part-time. They had me on part-time for 3 weeks, and after that someone came in and said, hey, I like your voice, can you record this commercial for me? Wow. And I was like, oh, well, you'll have to ask my boss, and I went into voice. I started doing commercials, and I was in such big demand that they gave me my own radio show. Wow. So I had to learn how to operate the equipment, you know, the carts and the turntable and the mics, and it's like you have to be ambidextrous, or you did back in the day. So I was a trained engineer. I'm listen to all these skills that I'm acquiring, you know, the radio, and then learning how to manage the whole radio station.
Right, the operation within itself.
So I can operate a radio station. So then from there, from radio, I went into a little bit of politics. politics, but that was learning. I went to sell radio time to a politician, and they wanted me to work with their
Get out.
organization.
Wonderful.
But it was because I was an African American and they were not, that they wanted me to join their, you know, the
Right.
campaign.
Diversity.
Right. So I
Keyword.
opened up a political office. I had never done that before. I had learned all about politics, and then after that run was over, I moved back to California, where I went on a half-a-day assignment at this place. I didn't even know where it was, but I said, I can act like an executive assistant, because I had before. So I used those acting skills to get me in the door, which happened to be the Screen Actors Guild.
Wow.
Wow.
And after a week of being there, I said, oh, there's a lot of books around here. There's a lot of paper. There's a lot of movement. The phones are ringing off the hook. I said, I like it here. And it was so much to learn. My boss, she sent me down in the dungeon to look for a contract that had been written in 1958. So I went and I found the contract for her, and I was like, this is history. This is, you know, so from that day, I set on to learn everything I could about contracts. For
Wow.
TV, for film, for radio, for whatever type of contracts.
So let me get this straight. You're a singer, a dancer, a writer, all this time, having all these God-given talents. But at every stop, you took the time to learn how to be an engineer, turn every button, turn every dial, read every contract, down in the basement, while your quote-unquote 9-to-5 job is something totally different as you're evolving into this entertainment entity you are. I just wanted to
Yeah.
capture that. That's amazing.
Even with that, it took me back to what Lamont said about digging in the.
Yeah,
You
for
said
those
they
scripts.
sent
He
you
went in the
down
trash can and got
Yes.
went digging in
amazing
the,
movies.
Yes.
He goes.
I had to
and he-
blow dust
Right,
off of the...
but you're doing that, and that's something that's taking you to learning about contracts and da-da-da. He goes and get it out of the trash, and it teaches him to write for how many? 20? How many sitcoms and
20 sitcoms.
yeah, and now you're your own. And here again, I'm sitting there looking. See, these are really like spirits in you guys that drive to do what I needed to do, because you took the scripts out of the trash.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I never really looked at it like that, but you're absolutely.
You took the
absolutely right.
scripts
That
out of the
knowledge.
trash. Something that someone had thrown away. She goes and gets something from 1958 that was literally pretty much kind of in a trash that she had to go dig for. You went. Come on now, listen, audience. If you don't get anything else, these two have came to be witnesses that if you gotta get it out of the trash, use it.
The dungeon.
The dungeon, use it for your good. Because here we have two people witnessing that what their one catalyst that took them above where they were was digging in the so-called dungeon or the trash. Come on now, Lamont, give us a little bit more about your road from the trash to the trailer, writing a trailer,
You're right. You're right. You know,
to it going on TV, and with the tenacity you haven't stopped yet.
you know, it's. And I tell people, you know, it's the entertainment business, but it's a business, you know, and it's a struggle. I mean, people don't really see the struggle of artists, you know, whether, you know, because I'm an actor as well, and I direct, so I do a lot of different things, but, you know, they see the end result, but they don't see, you know, forget the long hours, just trying to get to that point. I mean, it's so, we were talking earlier before we started taping just about the studios, Paramount, and, NBC and ABC and Warner Brothers. You know, if you've ever been in Hollywood or even here in Atlanta from that point, you know, those studios, they have 12-foot walls for a reason. You know, they keep you out. You know, and it's very difficult to get in. You know, so it was a struggle. You know, to get started. I mean, when I first moved to LA, you know, from Philly, you know, I was selling cars. I mean, you know, I keep it real. You know, I was broke, didn't really have any money. and I'm, in LA, you see a lot of celebrities riding up down the street. I remember Forrest Whitaker came in to buy a car. So you're like, man, that's Forrest Whitaker, so you're just trying to figure, well, how can I get there at some point? And there was one point where I actually thought about, I'm going to tell you a quick little story, moving back to Philadelphia, because I didn't think, I couldn't hardly pay rent, things like that. And this particular day, these two guys came in to test drive a car. So as a car person selling cars, you see two people come in, and you're like, wow, great, I might have a sale. So we go on this test drive round, we come back. Turns out they both wanted to buy two cars. So I thought that was my day, So I go into general manager, tell I got two guys out there want to sell cars. We ran their credit, looked over their history, and they said that their credit was bad. They couldn't do. I think one guy had a bankruptcy or something. So they said that they wouldn't get some cars. And I'm like, oh man, but I was so close. So in the car industry, you kind of keep in touch with the people, hoping they're,
Sure.
So I have their numbers. So I would call these guys every now and then. They knew I played basketball, so we were supposed to get together to play ball, never did. So I would check them, hey man, you get your credit up, you got another car.
Sure, naturally.
So that was kind of, that just kind of lost touch or what have you. And then about a few months later, I was watching, the Oscars, and I swear those two same guys walked across the stage and won Best Picture for Good Will Hunting. It was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
No way. No way.
Oh, wow.
Is that full circle or what? Wow.
That moment told me right then, when I was thinking about going back to Philly and giving up, that you can start from anywhere. It's not how you start, it's how you end.
Right.
And that just pushed me forward to keep it moving. And but that's a story that I use today in my life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's a
Isn't that
fantastic.
awesome, but it's so good.
They couldn't even buy a car then, and then just a major move
Then
there.
to see whose credit was bad. So I mean, everything isn't what it looks like.
Yeah.
It really isn't, and it looks like we're gonna have to go on another break, but we will be back. We're back, and you know what, Sir Edward, I like this out and about stuff with Globally. You don't.
It gives a really nice feel.
No, I'm
Looks so
talking about
good.
the food.
You smell that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hurry up.
Eddie's place is really doing a number on my nose. That smells
Yes,
fantastic, doesn't it?
It's you can have the green room. I like Eddie's. Yeah.
We go a lot of places, but I think this
Real
smells the
food.
best. Yeah, I definitely.
But let's get back into, because now I've been distracted, but we have been talking some good stuff that's on the back end. Audience, no, you weren't here. But anyway, let's go back to, you were talking about opportunity. We were talking about opportunities. And even with that, you're going to have to come back again, because we got a whole lot of
So
stuff
many
to
questions.
cover.
So many
Because we haven't even gotten into the right to work state and all that, because with the tenacity that they have, being here was, nothing to them, whether it's right to work, union, non-union, and that's something you have to deal with. But let's roll back to what we talked about off camera, because they need to hear some of this, what you were saying there, Ms. Ruth.
I'm going to put this in the category of opportunity.
Okay.
And being ready for
An opportunity.
your opportunity.
Being ready for your opportunity.
Being
Wow.
ready. And I was, in LA from the small town. I had only been there about a month, and I was in the program for inner city. And then a friend of mine's brother said, hey, I can get you an audition with Jeffrey Osborne. And I was ready because my sister and my mother
Jeffrey
managed a
Osborne,
group I was in
favorite, yes.
when I was younger called Chocolate Ice. So I was ready. I had the dance moves down. I had everything. My hair was done.
You were proven.
You
could do this.
Was my job. I was going on the road with Jeffrey Osborne. I didn't care.
Was that your dream job?
That was my dream job. But see, he was my favorite singer in the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeffrey Osborne.
Concentrate
so
on
we
you,
get there, and I'm out in the audience, getting in the outside in the hallway, getting ready, primping, and do, and they call me up. My stage name at the time was Coco.
Yes, I like it.
Coco Leggins. So they call my name.
Watch out now. Watch out now. Get your stage name right.
And so I went in and, I observed the room. I was still ready. And then they started playing my song, which happened to be Midnight Train to Georgia. I just love that
Sang a song.
Just
Yes.
love that song.
Yes,
and
yes.
so they, he started playing, the guy that was the musician started playing the song. And I got ready to really go in. And then Jeffrey came walking out. And, the music playing, I'm going, ooh, ooh. And so I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
The man took your voice away.
And then he said, okay, well, that's okay. He laughed.
He understood, sure.
He said, okay, proceed. I said, okay, I'm going to try it again. And so tried it again. I was like, oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing came out.
And you were an established singer already. You had a name, a brand. You had sung with other artists.
Our group was Chocolate Ice. We opened for Prince.
What?
We had met the Jacksons.
Now you have struck a chord.
I was ready.
So when
for
Jeffrey
this.
Osborne came in,
But
so that's strike two.
It was strike two. And then he said, he felt so sorry for me. He was like, young lady, if you'd like to try it again, we can do it. I said, sir, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry for wasting your time. And I walked off the stage and started walking out. As soon as I was walking out, a young lady named Tweed Smith heard what was happening. She opened the door. She said, Gerard, hit it. And she started coming in. I was walking out sadly, and she was running in, dancing, singing.
That's how you do
And she got the job because she was ready for the opportunity. But I wasn't. I didn't understand that it was not for me. I thought it was for me.
Right.
Because it happened so fast. But sometimes when things happen fast, they're not meant to be.
Sure.
Right.
And everything good is not good for you.
Because you had so many doors open for you.
Right.
So many blessings
The door
that
was
you
open.
had been able to get to this point.
Yes.
But this one time.
Yeah, I couldn't. It wasn't. So that made me realize that I needed to think about other things. So I got a job at a bank. I worked in insurance. I did those kind of things while I was keeping in contact with my friends who were going to auditions and singing with Stevie Wonder, out in the studio with Stevie Wonder. But I'm like, I'm not going to try to sing because I know what happened last time. So, it was more or less just be a fly on the wall and continue learning.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Powerful
just.
story.
But
Thank you for sharing
that point is to say that even through that, you realize I might not have been ready for that.
Exactly.
But you're ready to continue.
Yes.
And that's where the difference, audience, comes in. What about you? I'm sure you have something similar to say regarding that, Lamont.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a business of no's. You get so many no's, you just need one yes, but you get so many no's, but you have to be like a duck. You have to let it just wash and just, bounce off your back. So many times, you talk about being entrepreneurs, you have to go out and get it. You got to create your own opportunities instead of waiting for one. That's my whole motto. And so I remember one particular time in Philadelphia, Bill Cosby, we all know.
Sure.
Dr. Cosby. He's actually from Philadelphia. Actually went to my alma mater, Temple University.
Yep.
Remember his show?
Yep.
He'd have a big T up on the wall.
Right.
He used to shoot this show called Kids Say the Darndest Thing.
Yes.
And so they shot that in the Philadelphia area. So I went to a taping, and they had a comedian that was doing crowd warm up, for the show. And so at the time I started out doing comedy, and I overheard him say, he wasn't going to be there, the following week. So I was like, it's my opportunity to maybe I could, take his place or what have you. So I waited till after the show, and I waited, and just waited and stood there, and all of a sudden, Dr. Cosby, his entourage comes out. And so, I met him previously. I played basketball at Temple, so he was a big alumni supporter.
Sure,
of the school.
huge
So I
supporter.
reintroduced myself, and talked to him real quick, and I said, Dr. Cosby, I'm a comedian. I have the opportunity. The young man's not going to be here next week. The comedian. I wondered if I could possibly do it. And he said, I'm not sure with his schedule. I don't want to step anybody's toes. So basically, I'm not. I don't think it's going to work out. So but I stepped in the face. I said, okay. And I was a little disappointed. So So, I left and, walking to my car. And I'll never forget, I was literally opening up my door. I heard somebody say, "Hey, comedian guy." And I turned around, it was his driver.
Wow.
It was limo. He said, "Dr. Cosby said, come back tomorrow. He'll put you on stage for 5 minutes."
Uh-huh.
I mean, that to me was like,
Yeah.
winning the lottery, just that opportunity.
Right.
Whenever I got it, if I didn't wait and sit and basically, approach and go
Yeah,
out
ask
and
for
sing
it.
and ask
Yeah,
for it,
yeah.
ask for what you want. And
Right.
that's basically how this has been.
Creating opportunity, as you say.
I think, you got to create for opportunities, absolutely.
Key word. What is it, Sir Edward?
Creating opportunity. You heard it here first.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And that's what life is anyway. I mean, whatever you're doing in life,
Got to go for it.
you got to do it. You got to go for it. You can't sit in the corner and say, "Oh, I'm not going to try because I'm not good enough." You know what I mean? It's about how you perceive what's in there as you.
Yeah. If you don't
No
believe in
matter.
yourself, nobody else will.
Right, and that's really the key. And to believe in yourself that, like when you did about the opportunity for singing, you ready, but it just wasn't coming out.
It wasn't coming out. It didn't, it wasn't. And for me, after I walked out and got in my car, I didn't feel bad.
That
After.
piece, yeah.
'Cause you
Look
know
at
where
that.
you
Look
are.
at that
I
now.
feel bad.
When your opportunity passed you, what are you supposed to do? Look at that camera and tell them that.
You're supposed to walk away, take notes, and be ready for the next one.
Wow.
That
Fantastic.
you heard it from who it happened to. And to this day, that experience has helped you be a better you. What do you think?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I could say that actually that was one of the turning points in my life, because it made me know that if I'm not ready for that, then there's something else that
Absolutely.
I've got to get ready for.
Yes,
So
I like that, yeah.
getting that, once again, knowledge, absorbing. I was in the studio, as I mentioned briefly, with Stevie Wonder, with just everybody back in that era in the 80s. And we'd go in the studio on a Wednesday and sometimes wouldn't come out till Saturday.
Right, right.
Now, there were ladies there that were groupies, that were, when I'll just say groupies. I had the privilege of being me and not having to sell my soul, try
Yes,
to,
yes,
because
Sure.
I came in as family.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, when you're family, everybody is your big brother or your big sister.
Right.
And knowing how to go in a place and not try to take over, just sit back. That's one of the lessons that I try to help other people with. Don't just go in saying you know everything or showing you know everything. Just be quiet, and when it's your turn, then you'll shine.
Well, and I like the point that you're making too, because of being a female in that environment, and we all know the things that go on, and now they've taken their experiences and all of that in life through that, and now they've got this Me Too movement going on. When it's horrible to even live through that. But and not to I'm not judging anyone or doing that, but when you come up with the self-respect, and like you said, if you feel like you're in the company of family, then all that other stuff is not going to come into play. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as women in the industry, we have really got to understand when you walk into a room, and not just in entertainment, but any business.
Sure.
When you walk into the room with that family feeling, and there is a difference.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So when people look at you, you want them to catch that family feeling first.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? There is such a thing as a family feeling, and once that happens, when you go into the room, a level of respect for you will kick in. And this is something that we as women in the industry got to learn, how to go in with that family feeling first. So you can protect
Get that
yourself
respect, yes.
and get that respect.
Oh, yeah. My brothers took me to a strip club when I was 14.
Whoa.
And they said, if I ever see you or hear about you being, doing this. It was a lesson. So my life has been just
Sure.
lesson after lesson after lesson. And I'm a work in progress.
I think
And
we
I
all
try
are.
to share,
Yes,
Every day.
Learning every day.
You said your brothers took, you said Coco leggings, so I thought,
They said, yeah, you see all that money that they're getting or whatever, but what type of respect
Yeah,
do
sure.
they have? And, it made me just feel even different about,
Exactly.
myself.
And we're going to
Interesting.
respect the motion of the producer here and go to another break, but we will be back.
Absolutely.
We're back, and we're going to be out in the same breath. Can you believe it? This time has gone so fast.
Time flies when you're having
Doesn't
fun.
it,
My
though?
goodness.
But,
Always the best show.
The grand man and me, don't we just have so much fun with our awesome guests and all the information?
Absolutely. It's information that you can use to stabilize your business, your life, and keep pressing on.
And so in that vein, to keep pressing on, we want to go back to our awesome guest here and the audience. The audience is on my mind because what I want you guys to do is to look at the camera and give the audience a word of encouragement, just a snippet of your heart, so that they will know that you spent your time here sharing because you love them enough to let them know if you can do it, they can do it. So, Miss Ruth, Queen Ruth T. Paul, would you look at that camera and give us some closing advice? You got about a minute or so to share your heart, wrap it up for this segment. But you'll be back, right?
I'll come back, yes.
Yes, you'll be back, right?
absolutely.
They'll be back.
Okay, I want to say, first of all, my mother used to say to me, girl, when you gonna stop dreaming? My words to you is what I said to her. Without your dreams, what do you have? I'm a dreamer, and I will always be. And you should be too, no matter what it is you're dreaming about doing, even if it's just being a paramedic, or not just being a paramedic, but being a paramedic, being a doctor, being a lawyer, being someone that owns their own business, their own person. You can do that. Nothing is impossible. Each one has to teach one. And that's what I want to do. I believe now that my gift is to help you do what you want to do if you're in the entertainment industry. I work for the union for all the actors, and any given day I can be sitting across some of the high-powered attorneys that work for Paramount and Disney and all these different conglomerations. Every time I went to college, I was in for about 3 weeks and I got a good job. It wasn't for me. I had to educate myself. To be a self-appointed business, you have to educate yourself. You can reach me at SAG-AFTRA 404-239-0131 or sagaftra.org. I'm here to help those that are trying to be writers, producers, actors. I'm here to help. That's my whole spiel. Each one teach one. I'm not rich, but I'm all paid up.
Yeah, I like that. Oh,
Doesn't get much better than
I love
that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. I'm going to use that, and I'm not stealing. I'm telling you to your
and
face.
you can. Yes, you are. There you go.
I'm going to borrow it.
I did. That's what I said.
You did say that.
Didn't I
You
tell her I
did
was
say
going to
that.
use it?
Yes, indeed.
As my
Yes,
mama
indeed.
said, I'm going to use that. Talk to us, Lamont. Look at that camera and leave a word for this one time, because you'll be back, to inspire and encourage and give the fuel to the audience.
Piggyback on what Ruth said, I truly believe you believe it, you can achieve it. I've fortunately been able to accomplish a lot of things in my life. Like I said, I was an athlete, As a youngster, I had a basketball scholarship. And, I remember playing basketball 6th, 7th grade against grown men. And they were like, how are you going to play college ball? I never played college ball, But I took that as fuel to say, you know what? I can do better. And it's something that you want, you can get it. In the entertainment business, I've been doing this fortunate for a long time. And I tell people, I speak at a lot of schools and colleges. I'm a little different from you are. I was once sitting out there like you are. I'm still out there hustling. I said, but it's something that if you want to get, you got to get it, but you got to be creative. You can't take no for an answer. You can get 10 doors closed in your face, but you only need one. One yes. You can get 10 no's, but you only need, one yes. And, because of that, as a writer and a television producer, I decided to give back. And I teach a sitcom writing class because the only way we can truly, as just people, especially African Americans, to work in this business is to create. We got to create. We got to put our entrepreneur's hat on and create. We can't wait for an opportunity. You got to go out and create an opportunity. So I teach a sitcom writing class in the Lamont Farrell Sitcom 101, and with the power of the internet, I teach it, here in Atlanta. But people can log on and take the class live online. People take my class from all over the country and all over the world. And you can go to my website, justjokesentertainment.com. That's J-U-S-T, jokes, J-O-K-E-S, entertainment.com. Or you can reach me at 678-487-7672, or all on social media at Lamont F. Farrell on Instagram, on Twitter, or also on Facebook. So, if you want to do it, you believe in yourself, you can achieve it. You believe it, you can achieve it. And again, don't wait for an opportunity, create one.
Awesome. Simply awesome.
Yes. Now, I'm going to go to you, Sir Edward. But before I go to you, there's just one thing that I want to say and share, as we always do, right?
Absolutely.
Now, in life, as long as you're breathing, you have the option. It's all in your hands. You have the option to either love yourself enough to do what's deep inside of you, or give it up and live a useless life. But know this, we here at Globally You, we're here because we love you. And we want you to be the best you that you can be. Because it's all about you, globally. You. Come on, take us home, Sir Edward Henderson.
Well, my thoughts today are really short and simple. First, we've had some fantastic guests. I mean,
yes, we did. I'm going to give them
applause. The wisdom you shared.
In the industry, they put on the applaud sign. Well, we don't need an applaud sign. Applause.
Absolutely. The wisdom shared today was just so impactful. But there was a thread that just came through the entire show, and I believe the audience felt it too. It was divine intervention, but with purpose. You took steps to meet your absolute opportunity in life, to be where you are today. You didn't take no for an answer. And the power beyond, your faith, and my God said, you know what? I'm going to move you forward because you believe in you against all odds, against all obstacles, and I'm going to make it happen. And I say for our audience to really, really take that to heart. And that's not something you need to write down. You need to remember it and walk with that in everything you do.
Remember.
Take that to heart. But there's one other thing we've got to do. We're here at Eddie's Place, this gorgeous restaurant, one of the top 5 in the state for what they serve. And I want to bring out the owner. Come on, Dan. I've known this guy for a number of years. Thanks. Go and tell us, introduce yourself if you would, and tell us about this fantastic location. We want to thank you for hosting us as we go out on the road and try to meet our community where their need is. We thought that you would be a fantastic ambassador for Globally You, and that's exactly what you are. The food smells incredible.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out tonight and everything and sharing the opportunity with Eddie's Place. Family-ran business. Designed the restaurant after my mom's kitchen. We want to make sure that we treat everybody like family when they come in. And when I say family, it's my mom and sister that prepares all the foods, and my brother and cousin are the pit masters back there, and I
Wow.
run around this place crazy. But
And you are?
I'm Ed.
Man, thank you so much for, and you're opening a new location soon.
That's correct. We'll be opening up in Statham, Georgia, right downtown. It's going to be an outdoor concept, and we're going to have the games and everything like that, live music, entertainment down in Statham, Georgia. And this location is here in Decatur, Georgia.
Wow. Hey, best barbecue ever. I think our audience will appreciate that. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys.
Look for, we'll definitely be back.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll be back. And that's not all. Like I said, we're out and about, and we have a special treat that came all the way from the other side of town, down through generations and generations of nothing but real good music. And if you were back, real, R-E-A-L, good music. And as for me, I grew up with that sound, and none other than the one and only former lead singer of the Manhattans here in Decatur, Georgia, at Eddie's. Here he is, the one, the only Sir Lee Williams.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you for coming again.
Yes,
we're-
seeing you guys again.
Y'all shopping.
I mean,
Yeah,
goodness,
really, let me turn around.
Oh,
Hey.
my goodness.
Yeah, I got my back to everybody. Yeah, come on. I can't do that, really. Yes, and it's good to be here, that I can be able to talk and to see and to listen to everything that's happening. It sounds like I'm living my life all over again, you know, and so forth. And that's what's good about life. You learn about, listen to what others been through and what they're doing. And so forth. Nothing is wrong with that. And so forth. Came from North Carolina, came up. People asked me, well, what you gonna do when you get to New York? I said, I'm gonna sing. Wow. And that was my life, and that's what I'm doing, really.
And it's all part of the entertainment.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes. And we're going to talk to you again, too, but right now, just take them pipes and throw them out there at the audience.
Now, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hey, lady, what you doing to me? I gave you all I had, and I felt so glad. Hey, lady, why you treating me so bad? You're the sweetest woman that I've ever had. Oh, you said I was, girl, the only one that set your world on fire. I called you up on the telephone. I got no answer. You wasn't at home. Several times I called for you to comfort me. You're always busy, girl. I passed your house, girl, just last night. And the silhouette on the shade. Girl, tell me what I say. I felt right then. I had no wind, but I can't be left with the shape I'm in. Oh. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do, lady? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do, lady? Hey, lady. Well, you took my joy from me. Now I'm helpless, girl, as can be. I know there are plenty fish in the sea, but none can caress me so tenderly. You know when you call, girl, I'll be right there. Be right there. 'Cause I ain't going nowhere. Open up your heart, girl, and let me
Thank you very much. Yes.
About. And here what we want to do is for people to understand the